with ZipRecruiter.
The astronauts who returned to Earth from the International Space Station yesterday remain in Houston.
NASA and a medical team still evaluating that crew. They're making sure they're safe and healthy before reuniting with their families. The timing is still unclear, but it could happen within the next day or two. And after everything Sonny and Butch have been through, NASA is promising them some much-needed time off.
ABC's Faith Obube in Florida. 63,000 pages have landed on the National Archives website, revealing previously classified and redacted records on the Kennedy assassination.
This is Jim Ryan in Dallas. At the place where it happened 61 years ago, people still have questions.
Was it more than one shooter? Was he set up? I just want to know.
And visitors to Dealey Plaza appreciate the administration's attempt at transparency.
Release the documents so we can have a better understanding of what unfolded here.
A reading of the newly released records doesn't appear to refute the Warren Commission's finding that Lee Harvey Oswald was the sole gunman. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The Trump administration is now threatening to pull federal funding from New York City's transit system if the MTA doesn't provide a plan to address crime. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy pointed to a number of high-profile incidents. Systems in Chicago and Washington, D.C. could also lose federal dollars. Netflix's second season of the series Quarterback will feature a new lineup, including Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff. I'm Dave Packer, ABC News.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
5 minutes after the hour, and with your KVNU News update, I'm Will Feelright. Well, a patient is expected to make a full recovery after paramedics found them pulseless and not breathing. This happened over the weekend as firefighters with the Kaysville Fire Department received information about a person experiencing cardiac arrest. Now, paramedics suspected that the patient might be a candidate for ECMO. It's a medical device that supports the heart and lungs when they're unable to function on their own. Now, before a helicopter could arrive, paramedics were able to get on scene and successfully resuscitate the patient. They were flown to an area hospital for further care where doctors say they're expected to make a full recovery. Now, the fire department said that thanks to the close proximity of the fire station, a quick 911 call, early CPR, and early advanced life support, that likely played a critical role in achieving resuscitation. They noted, though, that fire stations are not that close to everybody, and they recommend anyone over the age of 12 become CPR certified. Well, the proposed rezone of some land in Orem, which used to be the Wilkerson Farm, is under dispute right now, with some neighbors not wanting to see houses built on the property. Now, the landowner is looking to sell, and a developer, Keystone Construction, is asking zoning changes to be done so that they can build housing on the land. But this isn't the first time the project has been discussed by the Planning Commission. Back in November, the commission unanimously voted to recommend that the city council deny the plan. Now, Keystone withdrew the application before the council could vote on it, and now the process is starting over again. Now, James Brown lives down the road but doesn't want to see the land get developed. John Porter also lives nearby. He says that he reached out to the construction agency, who has addressed some of his concerns, but both of them are hoping the commission will vote to deny the rezoning because they want to see the space remain open. And following legislative approval of a measure requiring Utah's universities to scale back spending as part of a broader strategic reinvestment initiative, some of the possible cuts are coming into focus. Now, Utah State University officials on Monday said they started accepting applications from faculty and staff who are willing to take part in a voluntary resignation program. It's one of the cost-cutting measures being planned. Now, if the voluntary separation incentive program, as it's being called, does not result in the required budgetary restrictions, USU may take additional actions to include implementation of a reduction in force. Now, Weber State University, meanwhile, says it plans to reorganize its College of Education, shifting the 4 departments within it to other university colleges. Meanwhile, the College of Education dean's post will be eliminated among other leadership positions, and the university officials are considering some other changes as well. Now, during this past legislative session, which ended earlier this month, Utah lawmakers approved a budget plan, HB 1, which axed 10% of the instructional budgets of the state's 8 highest education institutions. Now, Governor Spencer Cox later signed that into law in February. Well, we've enjoyed sunny skies, and tonight we're going to start to see the clouds coming back. As temperatures were in the high 30s today, and now tonight we're going to drop into the mid-20s. Those clouds, as they increase heading into tomorrow, do bring a chance of some scattered snow flurries and rain showers, as temperatures are going to be in the low 40s. We'll see that same forecast possible for Friday, increasing chance of rain showers possible for Saturday, and then the storm should clear out, as we'll see sunny skies beginning Sunday, and then continuing mostly clear skies for the first of next week, as temperatures will get back into the high 50s to low 60s. And that's your KVNU News Update at this hour. It's brought to you by Cardall's Insulation. If your home was built before 1980 and you're looking for a more efficient and quieter home, check out replacing the insulation in your home. Call Cardall's Insulation at 755-5012. I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update.
Hi, I'm Wendy, co-founder of Bell Sculpt. I know what it's like to feel uncomfortable in your own skin, worrying about how you look, feeling drained, and just not like yourself. Hormone changes, pregnancy, or aging can lead to weight gain and challenges that aren't your fault. That's why I believe so strongly in what we do at Bell Sculpt. I've had a procedure myself, and it transformed more than just my shape. It boosted my energy, metabolism, and confidence. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, Bell Sculpt is here to help. Book your free consultation at bellsculpt.fm.
Help us recognize the champions in our communities. Submit your nominations by visiting kvnutalk.com. The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs.
Let's protect everyone in Utah working hard every day. HB 267 does not take away anyone's rights. It actually opens up more seats at the table than through just collective bargaining alone. Everyone deserves to be represented, and HB 267 does just that. When approached about the referendum to repeal HB 267, please decline to sign. For fact-based information on HB 267, what it does, what it doesn't do, and how your tax dollars are protected, go to declinetossignutah.com.
Paid for by Americans for Prosperity Utah, not authorized by any political issues committee.
Got a fundraiser, charity drive, or nonprofit event coming up? Let us help spread the word. Send the details to calendar@cvradio.com and we'll share it with our community. From bake sales to benefit concerts to community celebrations, Cache Valley Media Group is here to amplify your efforts. We're proud to support the people and causes that make our community stronger. Email calendar@cvradio.com today and let's build a better, more connected community, one event at a time.
Northern Utah, it's time to make your voice heard. Voting is open in the Best of Northern Utah contest, presented by Alpine Cleaning and Restoration. Vote now at bestofnorthernutah.com. From your favorite restaurants to the best doctors, top mechanics to your favorite community events, you decide gold and silver winners in over 200 categories. You can vote every day in multiple categories. Vote now at bestofnorthernutah.com.
Best of Northern Utah.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Hour 2 of today's show. Still Wednesday, March 19th. Also, I'm still Jason Williams. And thanks again to Logan City Mayor Holly Daines for stopping by. She takes an hour out of her schedule every month to join us here, and we covered a lot of ground last hour. If you missed that, grab the podcast. Just search for KVN News for the People on whatever podcast app you prefer and use on your cellular device. Now, shifting gears, I'm really excited about this one. I saw this on the calendar. I immediately knew that I was going to reach out and see if we could do something because we did this last year, and it was a lot of fun to spotlight the organization. And it just worked out that we were able to do this today. And so I'm excited to announce that here in the studio with us is our good friend Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah chapter of something known as the Northern Utah chapter of Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, RMEF, as it's known. And this is, how many years now, Keri, has that foundation been around? I'm sorry.
Thanks, Jason, for having me on today.
Our pleasure.
It worked out to just stop on by. This is perfect.
I'm glad.
This is the 41st year of the foundation's. Last year was the 40th year anniversary, and this year is going to be the 41st. Logan chapter's been around for about 35 of those years, or 36, something like that. So we're one of the oldest chapters in the organization. We're the 34th established chapter. Anyway, but
that's pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool to be, listed as that when you look at the whole overall work that's being done. But Logan chapter, or the Northern Utah chapter as it's known, is been around a while, and have our upcoming banquet. That's why I think you gave me a call. You saw it on the calendar, so I'm glad to be here and talk about that today.
This is this is obviously a fundraiser to support the work of the foundation, but it's also an excuse to get out and win things, have fun. There's an auction, competitions and giveaway, but of course, really good food too is kind of, you try to center this each year, right? Carry around good food.
Yeah. We, what's a good time without some good food?
That's right.
We've tried different things, but this Dutch oven and what's being brought is top notch, one of the best that I know, and we've really enjoyed having it and shift to like the outdoor perspective and feel like you're kind of kicking off your, as spring comes on and you want to get camping and you want the Dutch ovens broke out, we're bringing out some good food, and so that's where we're starting is that. Of course, there's going to be some fun games and some fun prizes and a live auction as well as a silent auction. And,
both.
Yes, and both of those are fun to attend. If you're
that's very nice.
If you're not into livestock, just having the same kind of auctioneers come and auction off things that are, whether it's an art print or a Second Amendment item or those kind of things. It just gets fun, and to hear the competition going on between people and know what in the end result is that it goes for a good cause.
Yeah.
All money that's raised. This is a nonprofit organization. All money that is raised stays in the state of Utah and doesn't get sent out to different states or doesn't get sent to the organization overall. It gets sent, and the money raised in the state of Utah stays in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
And so we're grateful for that. And that's been one of the appeals about the organization that's drawn me to it, is that when they, put their money where they say it is, and they do with it, once you raise it, once you bring it, and I can honestly say I can see where it goes and do that. So it's fun. So it's a good time and it's a good night. And the upcoming banquet is March 29th, a week from Saturday, at doors open at 5:30 p.m.
Oh, really?
On that night. So, that'll be our kickoff for the upcoming banquet. So.
And that's happening, as Keri said, March 29th at the Cache County Event Center. And for listeners, I've linked to the event, both a Facebook post from the Utah Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and also the actual registration link where you can download the full banquet invitation and schedule and more. Now, a quick note, you can support the foundation without attending. So if you aren't able to attend but want to support the foundation, you can do that as well through the link there at remef.org. Just click on the Northern Utah Logan chapter. But I want to mention this, Keri, before we'll talk a bit here about what the foundation's all about and what is done with the money raised at events like this, which is going to blow listeners' minds, because what the foundation's been able to achieve is, well, again, mind-blowing. But I want to point this out. One of the items up for auction at the banquet on the 29th is something that you probably would not be this close to being able to leave the event with in your pocket. You're going to be auctioning off a multi-season conservation elk permit. That, as I understand, is one of the hardest to get permits in the state of Utah.
It is pretty coveted.
That's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. The one we're auctioning off is a multi-season bull tag for the Meadowville unit this year. And so it's a pretty good unit and pretty coveted and that type of thing. So, yes, it does draw people that, your other odds are pretty sparse if you just do the general drawings and such.
Slim to none.
With playing the Utah lottery there if you play the wildlife game. But that kind of thing, yes, it's fun and the funds will stay in the state of Utah. But that is one of the tags we will auction off that night.
Very cool. That alone should get some people showing up because, again, that's one of the most discussed permits I think I've ever run across. And I even talked to a gentleman once that drove 120 miles to increase his odds a bit. He thought about getting one. It didn't work, but he was willing to make the drive. But for listeners, again, we're speaking with Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah Logan chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and their upcoming Northern Utah Logan chapter banquet, Saturday, March 29th. Doors open at 5:30 at the Cache County Event Center, 49 South, 500 West. You know where that is. And just a few things that they have going on this year. Again, the Dutch Oven Dinner is part of this, included with your registration ticket. They're auctioning off, as we just discussed, the Meadowville Bull Elk Multi-Season Utah Conservation Permit, one of the hardest elk permits to get. And a Kennetrek Mountain Extreme boot set, complete with socks and gaiters. They'll be auctioning off a Glock, a Citadel Centurion bronze round mag. And this is a special edition for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation?
Yes. So that one is, there are 16 chapters in the state of Utah, and it is one of 16 for our state.
Wow.
With RMEF embroiders on it and things. So it's a one of 16 item. So it's fun to say that.
That is very cool.
Yep.
This is, and also you can save a bit on all this, including raffle entries and more, registering in advance. So please take a minute. Rocky Mountain, RMEF.org. Click on the Logan chapter there, or just follow the link on our Facebook page. You can also find it with just a simple Google search of Northern Utah Logan Chapter Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Banquet, and it'll take you straight to it. But again, I've linked to all of this on our Facebook page, and we'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit on the other side about what the foundation is all about. Most people listening are familiar, but many out there may not know exactly how much work on a shoestring budget, really, this nonprofit organization has gotten done for wildlife management here in Utah, and how much the state depends on this work to offset their own. So Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah Logan chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, is our guest here in the studio. On the other side, we'll talk about other ways you can get involved and what they've been up to right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Did you know Beehive Grill does catering? They're your best bet for quality dishes at your location. If you're a business needing a luncheon, a school wanting a tasty dinner, or a team looking for meals for an event, Beehive Pub and Grill has what you want. Call now or go to their website for more information and to set up your custom menu. Beehive Pub and Grill, your local catering source.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to get your planting started with Anderson Seed and Garden. Right now, save big on bare root plants like strawberries, raspberries, and fruit trees like apple, pear, cherry, and more. Plus, brand new this year, they've got 5-gallon shade trees on sale just in time for spring. And don't forget to grab Fertilume Tree and Shrub Insect Drench to keep pests away. Get the best selection before they're gone at Anderson Seed and Garden, 69 West Center, Logan.
Our 100th spring is right around the corner. After a long winter's sleep, the open road is calling, and Murdoch Volkswagen can help you take those curves in style. Right now, receive 2.9% financing for 60 months on a new Volkswagen Taos, or get 0% financing for 60 months on a new Tiguan. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family at Murdoch Volkswagen in Logan, or online at murdochvw.com.
Call 888-391-6083 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 3/31/25. I'm Larry Gelwicks, the Getaway Guru. Join me on The Travel Show every Saturday at 11 a.m., and I'll tell you where to go and how to get there with the best travel deals on the planet, including how to travel more and pay less, free this and free that promotions, and insider secrets on what the airlines, cruise lines, and hotels don't want you to know, along with your call-in travel questions every Saturday, 11 a.m., right here on News Talk 610 KVNU.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Logan chapter, our guest here in the studio. Again, we're talking about their upcoming banquet and fundraiser to support the foundation and its work. You can find out more at rmef.org. Just click on the Logan chapter link there and see the details of the banquet. But I've also linked on our Facebook page to the actual registration page and more. It's cheap. It's for a good cause. Dutch oven dinner, big auction, including, as we mentioned, one of the biggest items they'll be auctioning off is this multi-season Utah conservation permit, Meadowville Bull Elk permit. That is a sought-after permit and one you're not likely to get through the regular lottery they do for permitting through the state. So if you want good odds of getting this permit, all you have to do is go to this auction at the banquet on the 29th at the Cache County Event Center and be the highest bidder. And I tell you, your odds are way better that way than any other way. So that's just one of several items they'll be auctioning off and giving away, and games and competition and more. This is an event for the whole family. And for those not familiar, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is, for hunters especially, is pretty well known. Most people know what it's all about, but a lot of people don't understand exactly how much, this is what blows me away, how much you're able to do each year as a foundation, local chapters and the broader organization alike, on what is really an entirely volunteer-driven effort, oftentimes on a shoestring budget, completely dependent on donors and funds raised at banquets like this, and yet a long list of achievements.
Yes, definitely. I want to thank many sponsors throughout the valley.
Sure.
I couldn't. They know who they are, and I want to thank them. I could mention some, but I don't want to leave somebody out at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to do the same. I was going to start listing them off, and then I thought I won't be able to scroll fast enough. There's a lot here.
Yeah, there's a lot, and they're from the valley, and what they donate is so we're so grateful because it helps us raise the funds, and conservationists are the best people on the planet, whether they're the hunters or not. I mean, we are the ones that are retaining the wildlife in our valley and keeping the habitat for them. And that's what these banquets do is raise those funds from those of us as conservationists. Hunting is the largest conservation group in the world.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you're taking life, but no, it's actually the ones that are preserving it because they want to hunt it.
Yeah. The sport goes away if the wildlife populations are not.
Exactly. So we're the largest conservation group in the world, is the group of hunters, whether it's the RMEF or other organizations. But that money raised goes back into the state, and that's what the RMEF of Utah does. Last year alone, 2024, RMEF raised from conservationists from these banquets and spent $2 million in the state of Utah.
Wow.
And that was raised from people.
That's amazing.
People who are volunteers or people who came to these banquets. And
this is all on conservation work.
All on conservation work. Just
That's amazing.
As a quick highlight, $1.3 million was dedicated, and the largest sponsored purchase of some land in East Canyon, up there above, I think it's above Salt Lake, but $1.3 million, and it was turned into a WMA, so it's turned back to the public. Well, it's managed by the state, but turned into a wildlife management area for us as sportsmen to use, and $1.3 million of our dollars was used for that. The other $700 million 700,000, I apologize, was used on guzzler projects in the desert regions.
Oh, really?
Was used up Logan Canyon, cutting down junipers and providing weed control up Logan Canyon. One of the biggest things in our area that we contributed to out of that 700,000 is the wildlife bridges going in Manaway in 2024.
Really?
Yeah, I think
that was a foundation project. Oh, how cool!
It is a foundation project, and they're not completed or even started, but
but I've seen the design.
The design has started.
That's really cool.
And in the end, there's going to be, I think, up to 3 of them. So in the Manaway area alone, I went to the wildlife board meeting and helped, facilitate. This is where we're allocating those funds. And I saw Manaway on there, and I saw Logan, and I was like, hey, these are people that came to the banquet in Logan, Utah, and they can say, hey, when they drive past it, I did that, or I helped with that, because we allocated the money towards those projects.
That is so cool.
And so that's a fun and upcoming thing you can start to watch for as you see the work in Manaway or the tree trimming up Logan Canyon or that kind of thing. We've contributed to that directly. So
that is, and again, this is conservation work. The foundation, by the way, I just did some quick Google searching ahead of when we spoke last year, and I'd saved a lot of these notes, but we didn't get a chance to talk about this last year. But the foundation itself has been mentioned by conservation groups in a positive way all across. It runs the gamut of groups who have said this foundation is doing great work. The state of Utah actually attributes work of the foundation to saving taxpayers an estimated $500 million over the last 5 years, basically saying the work they're doing, it's the state saying, look, we can't do everything as a state, and so a lot of the stuff just wouldn't have gotten done, and then when we got around to it as a state, it would have been more expensive. And so they actually cite the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and others as being key to saving that money for taxpayers down the road. I don't know. It's just a really cool thing. How did this all start 41 years ago? This was literally just a group of hunters, I think, that just wanted to go out and feed some deer in a bad winter, if I remember the story correctly.
Pretty much, yeah. Up in Montana mostly. Or
some elk, sorry.
Yeah, some elk, yeah. And that it was a group of hunters, and they wanted to see that they survived and that they would be able to hunt the next year. And
so they did some quick fundraising for some bales of hay. And
yep, it is.
That's how it all started, right?
Yep, and it's based in Missoula, Montana as the headquarters or the main offices. But, they've branched out and created chapters and all across the United States. It goes clear back Virginia. There's chapters all across the United States. It's fun to look them up, and when you get on that website that Jason's mentioned, you can look up your state or somebody in a state, and they can go and participate, same as you, or maybe you're going to go out and visit them, because they've out there for their work or whichever family member, and you could say, hey, let's go to this. That's an upcoming event while I'll be in your area. And you can always look that up right on that Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation website, just by state. We're grateful that our banquet is coming up here in northern Utah on March 29th, and look forward to having you join us and have a good time with some fun games and some amazing prizes. And again, thank you to the donors of Cache Valley. It is people around this valley who are very generous and I'm very grateful for. And when you come, you'll see their banners and you'll see our thanks to them. And please come join us. It'll be a good time. It's going to be a fun night.
Dutch oven food, that should get a lot of people there in and of itself. But and again, they'll at this event on the 29th, they'll be auctioning off one of the rarest elk permits in Utah. People, not literally, but fight for these permits for years now, almost legendary battles to get to increase their odds in the lottery, and none of it works. It's still just a random lottery. But you can actually bid on one of these permits at the March 29th event at the Cache County Event Center. If you're a hunter, that alone should get you there.
Some of these battles on the live auction
they get brutal.
But the entertainment value of it alone is fun. And that is part of the, the enticement to come to it is to enjoy. For me, I enjoy the live auction section. And, I can raise my hand, same as anybody else, but it is fun to see the competition that comes. And it gets fun when, they get bidding on it fast and furious. And then you get the live auctioneer who's done it his whole life, and they speed up the process, but get those numbers rolling. And I can't even compete with that, but it gets the excitement in the room, and it really is a fun time. And you can play the games throughout the night, so you can have your own wins. We're family friendly. Kids are invited. There's a kids table. I'm gonna shout out that I got a women's section this year that it's blowing me away how much the donations as well as what we got from the RMEF
women hunters.
Yeah,
that
for
is
any women, the pillows and blankets and the things I have to add to home decor. I'm excited about the section that I have specifically designated for the female folks of Cache Valley. And so,
that is so cool.
Drag your husband along, bring them, because, for whatever reason this year, it seems like I've got a pretty good selection to choose from in our raffles and our games and that kind of thing along the women's section, or a women's appeal, I guess you'd say. So exciting.
Fun. This is honestly a lot of different items being auctioned from the 2025 Progressive Firearm. That's the Browning X-Bolt ODG Hunter, the Citadel Centurion, the Banquet Edition. So this is a special for this event edition of the 8400 Monarch. I mean, this is really a unique opportunity, and I'm just listing a handful of things because I can't scroll fast enough. Keri mentioned as well community and business sponsors of the Elk Foundation. If you can't make the event, you want to make an individual donation, or if you want to step up even larger as a business sponsor, there is information on how to do that, again, via the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation website. Click on the Northern Utah Logan chapter link there, or search for Logan, Utah at rmef.org. And there are a lot of opportunities for you to step up as a sponsor and keep this critical work going. Again, this is the health of the wildlife, the health of the habitat, but being supporting the work of the state, the work of large national organizations, with a local chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation doing some critical stuff out there for our wildlife.
It all stays here in the state. And you could call or text me as well if you want my number,
sure.
435-232-5294. I'm happy to take a phone call about it or a text, and I can either link you to the website real quick. I have it on my clipboard all the time. At this time of year, I send it to a lot of people and forward that. But I can also put you in the system. I can get back a hold of you and nice. Get you linked up that way as well. So be grateful for your calls as well. So
perfect.
Either way.
Yeah, if you can support them in any way, attending the banquet on the 29th would be the most fun for you as a listener. And again, more information on that via the links on our website, or visit rmef.org and click on the Northern Utah Logan chapter there. You'll see registration information. And but you can also just make an outright donation. You can step up as a business or a community sponsor as a group. And read more about the work of the foundation as well. Really critical stuff they're doing out there. And thanks to our listeners, and thanks to our guest, Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Logan chapter, and the upcoming banquet again, March 29th. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. at the Cache County Event Center. And food, Dutch oven food, games, fun for the whole family, and then, of course, the silent and live auctions for a lot of cool items. All of this to support the work of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Logan chapter. And thanks again to you, Keri, for stopping by. Thanks to our listeners for being here. And we'll be back with more of For the People after the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. Salt Lake City police are asking for the public's help finding a vehicle that is believed to be linked to a shooting death 3 years ago. Back on January 23rd of 2022, a 50-year-old woman was shot and killed in a parking lot near 130 South, 800 West at about 9:20 in the morning. Now, the woman died at the scene despite life-saving efforts. No other information has been released about the investigation, and no arrests have been made. Police say they're still seeking a motive for the crime, but yesterday, officers released a picture of a vehicle that the gunman used to drive away. Police said the car is believed to be a 2011 to 2013 white Hyundai Sonata. Detectives say they have a picture of the car, but the license plate can't be seen. They suspect that multiple people were believed to be in the vehicle when it drove off. Police are asking anyone with information about that shooting or the suspect vehicle to contact law enforcement. Well, crews responded to an avalanche that occurred above Snowbird Ski Resort yesterday afternoon. At about this time yesterday, Alta Central reported that State Route 210 was closed due to that slide. Now, everybody that was on the road at the time was advised to return to parking lots and follow directions from law enforcement. Snowbird spokesman Connor Giles had confirmed that the slide occurred somewhere above Snowbird, in between Snowbird and Alta. Now, 2 cars were involved in the avalanche, but Salt Lake County Sheriff's Detective Arlen Bennett said that no injuries were reported. Snowbird Village was placed on an inner lodge overnight where all outside travel was restricted and everyone was encouraged to seek shelter indoors as crews performed avalanche mitigation work. And a man who was once told that he would serve the rest of his natural life in prison went before a Utah Board of Pardons and Parole yesterday for the second time in 2 years. James Purnell Shard had pleaded guilty back in 1987 to aggravated murder, a capital offense, for brutally stabbing Madeline Beltran, a 52-year-old, repeatedly in the throat, chest, legs, and lower abdomen. Now, Shard, however, was spared the death penalty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, in 2020, the Board of Pardons had entertained the idea of holding a rehearing for Shard upon completion of certain programs and due to his disciplinary-free record and positive employment history. Now, a hearing was held nearly a year later, but he was denied parole at that time, but told that another hearing would be set at a later date. Now, that rehearing was yesterday, and during that time, Sherrard told board member Blake Hills about his abusive childhood and how he had tried heroin for the first time at age 16 and then became addicted. Now, on the night he killed Beltran, he said he only had intentions of burglarizing her home, but while recounting his crimes, Sherrard also said he didn't want to sound like he was making excuses, and he took full responsibility for what had happened that night. Well, we've had sunny skies today, and now clouds returning overnight tonight as we have a chance of some rain and snow beginning tomorrow, as overnight temperatures will be dropping into the mid-20s. We'll see highs tomorrow in the low 40s. Same forecast for Friday, and then looks like more rain possible for Saturday before the sun will return for Sunday and into the first of next week. Looks like by the middle of next week, we'll see high temperatures into the low 60s. Looking forward to that. News and weather this hour brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. They can save you time and money on those extra loads of laundry that we have this time of year from spring cleaning projects. Take them into Mount Logan Laundry at 5th East and 9th North in Logan, or 1st East and 7th South in Brigham City. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update. More of KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams next.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The legal battle escalates over the Trump administration's deportation flights. The judge in the case now demanding more information about 2 flights over the weekend.
The Justice Department's appealing a decision by a federal judge to block the Trump administration from deporting suspected Venezuelan gang members under the Alien Enemies Act, which means they can be deported without a hearing. The administration's lawyers say this is within the president's authority to protect the nation. They also maintain that the judge is not entitled to learn more about the men deported.
ABC's Brian Clark. President Trump had his first call today with Ukrainian President Zelensky since their blow-up in the Oval Office last month. Zelensky agreed to a limited ceasefire between Kyiv and Moscow. With the ceasefire shattered in Israel and in Gaza, Israel says that it will continue attacks there until Hamas releases the remaining hostages. Amid growing fears over a possible recession, the Fed today saying it's holding interest rates steady. This is ABC News.
Here's what some of our patients have to say about how Red River has changed their lives.
So before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety. I had been to multiple doctors. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong. And then a friend mentioned Red River, and I went and saw him, and it has changed my whole life. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. no more stomach pains. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to focus on imbalances that are driving your condition or symptoms, not just give you Band-Aid answers. So when a patient comes to our office, we'll sit down with them extensively and go over their blood work to find out the underlying imbalances driving their symptoms.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Did you lose your fruit tree harvest last year? Don't let pests and disease take over again. Now's the time to protect your trees with Logan Extermination's Dormant Tree Spray Services. This time-sensitive treatment stops insects, insect eggs, and diseases before they start, keeping your trees healthy all season long. Logan Extermination will treat all trees and offers season-long protection packages too. Don't wait. Schedule today. Call Logan Extermination at 752-8450. That's 752-8450. Logan Extermination, a division of Anderson Seed and Garden.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice, and I'm here with Barbara. Barbara, how did you become acquainted with Primrose?
I had been trying to get another company to come and help me, and I had waited about 2 weeks, and I needed a bath. My neighbor suggested that she would make a few phone calls, and that very afternoon, Mark Stokes was sitting in my front room, and he said, "What do you need?"
Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
No matter what the conditions, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle up and off your property. Now is the time to plan to make extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage and moving that old vehicle. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy to get rid of your junker vehicles, paying you the most money possible. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details. Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce invites you to attend the annual awards gala on Friday, March 28th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Enjoy a wonderful evening with elegant dining and recognition of Cache Valley's outstanding businesses and individuals who not only lead in our community, but also serve, making Cache Valley such a great place to work and live. Don't miss the Cache Chamber Awards Gala, sponsored by the Bank of Utah. Friday, March 28th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Reserve your seat at cashchamber.com or call 752-2161.
Got a fundraiser, charity drive, or nonprofit event coming up? Let us help spread the word. Send the details to calendar@cvradio.com and we'll share it with our community. From bake sales to benefit concerts to community celebrations, Cache Valley Media Group is here to amplify your efforts. We're proud to support the people and causes that make our community stronger. Email calendar@cvradio.com today and let's build a better, more connected community, one event at a time.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Big thank you again to Keri Smith for stopping by. So for those, we didn't have a chance to really talk about this while he was here with us, but just to let listeners know, we planned this in a rush. I saw the news item or calendar entry about the banquet. They uploaded it to the Cache Visitor Center calendar today. And to keep up on events for the show and things like that, I get an update anytime anything new's added. And I saw that update. I reached out to Keri thinking, we'll do this sometime next week. But usually it takes that amount of time. Keri said, well, I could actually do something by phone today, a shorter segment by phone. And I said, all right, let's do 10 minutes by phone. And we'd planned that for 5:10. Well, then, as Keri mentioned, his work day actually brought him close to the station. He realized it was 5:01. He was actually looking for a quiet place to pull off and talk to me in a phone interview. And he said just to stop by, so we were able to stretch that out a little bit more and talk more about the work of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Support this organization. If you're a hunter, if you're an environmentalist, if you're a conservationist, if you are just someone who is concerned about all the growth you're seeing and the concerned about the future of, for lack of a better phrase, the Western lifestyle that we enjoy here in the Intermountain West. Western state lifestyle, I guess I should say. Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is really a good place for your money to go. They spend every dollar they get. So this is all volunteer. They don't have administrative costs other than occasionally a tank of gas here or there or expenses for the projects itself. But all the money goes straight towards their work, and they've done everything from restoration projects in Logan Canyon to some simpler things like in that really rough winter we had in 2023. A lot of foundation money was used for the feeding of deer and elk in areas where trying to keep the populations up. And, of course, this is done with hunters in mind, outdoor enthusiasts in general, but specifically hunters, those who like to get a permit and go out and see if they can bag an elk. And, obviously, if the ecology isn't healthy, if the environment is damaged, if the rivers are dirty, if the air is dirty, hunting becomes a thing people used to be able to do because the wildlife populations are so low. Hunting isn't possible or even fun anymore for avid hunters. So they work. It's one of the most fascinating things for me because, and I'm going to one day remember this book before I start talking about it, but there is an amazing story of this event that happened. It was in Wyoming. It involved a river. It ended up, it's a book, and then the book was turned into a documentary which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in snooty liberal Park City several years ago. But it's this fascinating story, and you can find it out there. I think it might be on Amazon, and I'm spacing the name now. But anyway, it's the story of these ranchers, these hunting groups, and these very left-wing environmentalists groups that found common cause over saving a river. The ranchers downstream, of course, wanted to save it because if that river was polluted by an accident, this all centered around there was a company upstream from everybody that wanted permission from the state to pollute more into the river, basically. And the state was thinking about it. The EPA was saying, we'll stop you. The state was saying, well, this is a states' rights issue. We're going to fight you on that. And then these ranchers and hunters and environmentalists teamed up and said, hey, everybody, why is no one talking to us? and they were successful in pressuring the state to back down and not approve this exemption for pollution into the river from this company that had a lot of political donation money to throw around. And it's a fascinating story because you had people who were on, I would stereotyping here, of course, but based on their politics, when you see them in the movie or read about them in the book, you would assume, probably pretty right-wing from this person or that person. Over here, you have someone that I'll bet you couldn't get further left than that. But they were all in agreement that this river was so important to the local wildlife habitats and overall ecology of the area that an exemption to pollute more was something they couldn't believe the state was considering. And, of course, the state was considering it because lawmakers were getting a lot of donations from this large company. So it's just that, to me, is what the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is all about. That's a specific example, and the foundation itself has never been involved in anything like that. But it's an example of how, sometimes we get caught up in the tribalism of all this, and you don't think that there's common ground between land conservation and restoration and environmentalism and worrying about water quality and air quality and climate change and hunters. But there absolutely is. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I know more hunters that are aware of, believe in, and want to do something about our pollution contributing to climate change than I think most people would believe. And one of the reasons is when they go out hunting, they're seeing the haze. When they go out hunting, they're seeing the effect on wildlife and wildlife migration areas. They're concerned about all of that pollution that makes its way up into the air eventually and ends up settling in the mountains and on the rivers and on the snowpack because it negatively impacts the wildlife, and then populations go down. And then populations go down, hunting becomes less desirable in that area, and then eventually you run out of areas where hunting is a pastime you can actually do. So avid hunters are actually, kind of in a roundabout way, some of the biggest and most vocal environmentalists I've ever met. They just don't use the same language as like someone who donates $500 a year to Greenpeace. but they have the same mindset. To me, the foundation kind of represents that sort of thing, gets us beyond the political tribalism and the factionalism of our politics and gets down to something simple, which is, look, whether you're coming at it as an environmentalist or whether you're coming at it as a hunter or whether you're coming at it as someone who cares about the water and air quality, no matter what, the ecology is something we all need to protect. And so the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is an example of taking volunteers and private donations and going out there and doing really good work for the environment. Of course, they're doing it so that hunting stays a viable pastime and so that wildlife populations stay healthy and large enough. But end result is the same: a healthier environment, healthier canyons, healthier rivers, healthier wildlife. So support the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Again, rmef.org. You can click on the Logan chapter there to find out more about their March 29th fundraiser banquet at the Cache County Events Center. They're auctioning off in both a live and silent auction all kinds of things, from travel discount packages to a Citadel Centurion 9mm bronze round mag, to the Browning X-Bolt, a Kennetruck Mountain Extreme boot, sock, and gator set. And, of course, and I'm just randomly going up and down the list here. There are hundreds of items they'll be auctioning off. But the one that should get everyone out more, if you're a hunter and know about this, they're auctioning off a Meadowville Bull Elk multi-season Utah conservation permit. This permit is one of the most impossible permits to get. But if you go to the auction on the 29th at the Cache County Event Center to benefit the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Logan chapter, you're guaranteed to walk away with that permit if you're willing to bid the highest. The closest you'll probably get to getting one of those permits, honestly. So rmef.org, again, is their website. Click on the Logan chapter there. You'll find details on how to register. And again, the event, the banquet fundraiser for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Northern Utah Logan chapter is March 29th at the Cache County Event Center. If you need more information, you can email the Logan chapter at Northern Utah RMEF, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Northern Utah RMEF at gmail.com, or as Keri said, you're welcome to text him at 435-232-5294. And we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
The madness. Wide open left wing three. Yes, sir. Starts. Got it. Oh, 5 feet behind the line. Now. He shoots the three. He makes the three. It's the NCAA tournament. Throws it down with 2 hands. Join us Thursday, live from Lexington, Kentucky. It's the Aggies and the Bruins on the Aggie Sports Network.
Pre-game begins at 6 with tip-off at 7:25 and post-game and Aggie call immediately after on News Talk KVNU, the voice of the Aggies.
Your landscape should be a place to relax, entertain, and spend family time. Canyon Landscaping designs and installs livable landscapes that define space in new or existing yards. Hardscapes with retaining walls, paver and stone patios and walkways. Each create privacy, interest, and purpose. Plus fire pits and sitting walls to add value to any yard. Go to canyonlandscaping.com for more details. Then call to schedule your free consultation. Call 752-3838 or go to canyonlandscaping.com. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
Does your house have that closed-up smell? Do you feel like you're dusting more frequently? Have you noticed an increase in allergy symptoms? It might be time to have your air ducts cleaned. Call a Logan-based business, The Duct Hunter, at 435-770-4813 for a quote and to schedule an appointment.
We are the Duct Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Northern Utah, it's time to make your voice heard. Voting is open in the Best of Northern Utah contest, presented by Alpine Cleaning and Restoration. Vote now at bestofnorthernutah.com. From your favorite restaurants to the best doctors, top mechanics to your favorite community events, you decide gold and silver winners in over 200 categories. You can vote every day in multiple categories. Vote now at bestofnorthernutah.com.
Best of Northern Utah.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Thanks again to Logan City Mayor Holly Daines, our guest in Hour 1, and to Keri Smith, chairman of the Northern Utah Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Logan chapter. Fun topics this hour, or this whole radio show, but it went by really quick. There were a lot of things we didn't get to do, including I'd planned to give away some Cache Valley Home and Garden Show tickets on the show today. Obviously, there wasn't time for that, but we will do that tomorrow before and after the For the People Theater Hour with Charlie Schill. So stick around for that, or be here for that, of course. I wanted to throw this out because so the snowpack looking pretty decent out there. The avalanche warnings, though, are high. And I want to throw that out because there was news today that a snowboarder has died after being found buried in snow on Park City Mountain Run on Wednesday. This was a very small, isolated, basically an avalanche that actually happened just off of, as I understand it from the Summit County Sheriff's Office report, around 11 a.m. today, just barely off of a groomed run. Called the Alley Run at Canyons Village. And they found a 55-year-old man who had just barely left the groomed area by feet and was buried in snow. And the ski patrollers and a family member dug the man out of the snow. He was transported to an on-site medical facility where he died after receiving life-saving care. And the sheriff's office hasn't identified the snowboarder by name, but the Summit County Sheriff's Office said that they believe this was just a tragic accident, but a reminder that even on the smallest of slopes in what looks like a completely groomed area, shifting snow with warm temperatures and cool nights and things like that can be a problem. So for those of you who have maybe wound down your ski season already, there are some resorts open, of course, still. Keep an eye out, but even more so for those who are looking to get, maybe with the warmer weather coming, looking to get out into do some hiking, get out on those trails as they start to dry out. Utah Avalanche Center reminds that there is still enough snow on the hillsides, even a 30% grade alone, angle hillside, is enough to drop enough snow down to bury you. So, yeah, still keep an eye out there. It's spring. I know you want to let your guard down as far as avalanches go, but there's